A local author explores the history of Baltimore media through vintage photos.
And on Coffee With, we learn about some of the media history right here at WJZ.
Gary Helton is an expert on Baltimore history. You have written several books, and your newest one looks at Baltimore radio and television.
Yes.
So why did you decide to focus on this subject?
Like everybody else, I grew up with it and loved it, and it was part of my life, and it was what I wanted to do from the time I was about 4 years old. And the book was an idea, this particular one was an idea that began about 20 years ago as a web page, and then the good people at Arcadia said to me about a year ago, let's go forward with it.
I'm looking at the anecdotes you have about WJZ. This page talks about the Buddy Dean Show and Lorenzo the Tramp.
Yep, right here in this room.
Any fun, surprising facts we might not know that you learned?
Yes, some of them I can even talk about.
Oh, please go on.
Well, I was telling somebody when we first came in here, I was a production assistant here in the early 70s as a college student, internship for about a year, and Bob Turk had a kids interview show, and I have a photo of Bob in there as a young, handsome guy with a lot of hair. We all had a lot of hair back then. And I was a production assistant on Bob's show, and right across the studio there, we were taping the first program, and Wiley Daniels was a reporter here, and the news set was just a counter at the time, and all the reporters stood side by side, shoulder to shoulder. But Wiley was a very short man, so they built a box for him to stand on. And as Bob was going to the first break, I backed up about 2 steps and tripped over the box.
Oh no.
So Bob said, we'll be right back after, and you heard this boom, ba-da-dum, boom crash. And I got banned from the studio after that. So this is the first time I've been back in this studio in 45 years, and I hope I'm not going to get in trouble.
I know, I forgot to check if you're still banned or not. I hope that has gone away. Oprah is also in the book as well, because she, of course, worked here at WJZ.
A lot of people came through or started in Baltimore, and the list is incredible. Gene Rayburn, Jim McKay, who was the first face and voice on Baltimore television on Channel 2 in 1947. He was Jim McManus then. And he worked for the Sun Papers, and the Sun Papers wanted to start a television station, and they grabbed him one day in the newsroom and said, "Hey kid, you're now a television news person or whatever." And he said, "Swell, what's that?"
Yeah, what do I do?
And they didn't even have any studio then, they just used remote vehicles. So on the first day, McKay went out to Pimlico, called a couple of races. They went off the air for a few hours, and then he went down to the old Coliseum on Monroe Street and did wrestling for a couple of hours. And then eventually wound up going to CBS, and they changed his name to Jim McKay, and he became a legend in broadcasting. But he started in Baltimore. And Gene Rayburn passed through at WIGH, where I got the chance to do mornings for a couple of years, back about 2 decades ago.
Well, thank you for putting this together for us, and it's available online, anywhere books are sold.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, well, congratulations on putting this together. We look forward to your next history lesson for us. I don't know what your next subject will be.
Well, maybe they'll let me back in the studio then, and nobody will get in trouble over it.
Thanks,
Thank you.
We'll be right back after this with news, traffic, and weather.